just got to go do something really quick, really quick. I'll be back in a minute. Okay.
Knarb, come in, Knarb. Over.
Yeah, I'm here. I have eyes on the prize. Over.
Is he there? Over.
Yeah, he's right where we expect him. Over.
Bill, are you in position? Over.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm here.
Bill, you're done talking. You need to say over. Over.
We've been over this 100 times. Over.
Okay, fine. Over. Are you happy now?
Are you done talking now, Bill? Besides, I didn't hear you say over.
Yes, over.
Okay, now. Gert, are you in the spot?
Oh yeah, baby. Let's do this. Over.
Perfect. He's looking your way now, Gert. Go, go, go.
Well, no, he didn't say over, did he?
There it goes.
The kid took the bait. Bill, go, go, go. Over.
Alright, payload is secure. Over. Get me out of here. So I've just got back. I was helping my friend Nick there from CC Minis steal a toy from his child. Because what's the point in being a dad? If you can't steal toys from your child. Welcome to episode 19 of Bill Making Stuff. Today's episode is another collaboration. When isn't it? And it's me, Gert from Dark Matter Workshop.
Goedenavond, meine Freunde.
Knarb from Knarb Makes.
Hey, how's it going?
And Nick from CC Minis.
I mean, I was trying to think of a good dad joke. I just looked in the mirror.
So we all decided to steal a toy from our child and make it better. Different? Improve it? No, it's not the word. Change it in whatever way we want, and then give it back to our child at the end. See if they like it. So I stole a toy from my child. It was, less faff than with Nick. I'll just show you. Yeah, I'm taking this, all right? I mean, I'm sure he's okay now. I mean, I got the. Let's just have a little listen. We just turn that down. So I stole a little plastic dinosaur from my son. That's what all the noise is about. One, it's really cheap plastic. I'm going to be able to cut it up easily. And two, I kind of like that walking mechanism. I want to see if I can get a model to walk. I'm nearly 100% sure that would work. So I want to cut the legs off, the tail off, and the head. And I think I want to add a load of, big, long, weird legs and a load of eyes, and just make, a generic monster. That generic monster thing, like that. Well, what we have here is your permanent marker with a fine point. I spotted it straight away. So as the regular viewers know, I have a wish list down there, and I stuck a rotary tool on there, and someone very kindly bought it for me. There wasn't a note in the package, so I couldn't thank them on the video, but thank you. I mean, look how nice that is. It's just cutting through it like cheap Chinese butter. It's just so much. What the hell? So that is why you wear goggles, ladies and gentlemen. Look, see, I did that on purpose. No, I didn't really. A piece did fly up and hit me on the cheek. It didn't cut, but it's, it missed the goggles completely. And the goggles are fine. Not a scratch. So as always, if you want to stick cheap plastic to anything, you need to sand it down. But it was at this point when I realised the legs weren't going to move anymore. They seemed to be jammed in place, so yeah, let's forget about the whole walk-in model thing. Let's just ignore that. So I haven't really decided how I want this creature yet. I know I want the back end of the dinosaur to be the front end, because look, it's like broad shoulders, like a bit of a dinosaur gorilla. A bee way. Don't get me started on bees. But I'm not sure on this head, or the legs, or the tail. I know I want the legs long, so I'm going to use these wooden dowels. That's all I know so far. If you don't have a mitre box, get one, because instead of like trying to cut wood on a the desk like a sucker, I can actually cut at angles and get straight lines. I'm getting all fancy pants. Yeah, I think they're maybe a little bit too long, those back legs. That's better. No, I don't like that head. It's gone. So because I cut the dowels at 45 degrees, they can kind of join together in a leggy angle. So I'm still looking for a head for this monster, and and I thought, why not just use the towel for a head? Because it's the way I think. I'm way out there, I'm on another level. I use towels for heads. And there we go. That looks like a head to me. Don't worry about it. My son's gonna love it. So it's time to make some handsy feets and hand feets, just like long dangly bits that hang off the end of arms and legs, those things, the little dangly bits that are really a pain to make. But this is how I make them. I twist around, look, you can see what I'm doing. I make them just like that. See, just like that. So glue it all in place with a bit of super glue, and you've got yourself some handy feeties, those things.
Are you going to check on him, Bill?
Yeah, I will in a minute.
Go check on him, right?
Kind of busy, yeah.
You better go check on him, Bill.
I will, don't worry, I will. Oh, he stopped.
Don't close your eyes. I'll be there.
So it's time to get messy. It's time to get messy when I stick some grease-proof paper down. So I have air drying clay, I have some polymer clay, super Sculpting, and I have some epoxy putty. Now I'm going to go today with Milliput, the epoxy putty, because air dry clay takes too long. The super Sculpting has to be baked in the oven, and you know how ovens and hot glue don't mix. So I'm going to use Milliput. Now it's a 1-to-1 mixture, so take the same measurement from this little package to this little package. They look like dried old dog turds, don't they? And you mix it together, and there you go, there's your putty. Now I'm sure a lot of people use gloves with this stuff, but I just, I need that. I need to feel what I'm doing. Also, old witch hands can take it. But damn, this stuff does get messy. I mean, it's ridiculous. It gets real messy. The stuff is pretty easy to use. If you use a bit of water, you can kind of smooth it down and make it a bit more pliable. You get it wet, you know, it works a bit better. That's what your dad said. And I'm using silicone sculpting tools to add some texture. So unlike Sculpting, you know, if I wanted to make a save point here, I would have to bake it in the oven. I can just wait 4 hours, a bit longer, but you know, after 4 hours it's pretty rock solid. So it's time to add fingers and toes and details, and I'm going to use the last of them in a putt. There's not much left, and as I said, it's a 1-to-1 recipe, so why is this bit longer than this bit? Doesn't make any sense, unless he's been eating it again, hasn't he? So it can be tricky making fingers and, you know, covering the armature wire properly. I find it best to make little balls, squish them flat, and then wrap them around, and then work from there. Smooth it out with some water. And this time I'm going for chicken feet hands. You know, chicken feet hands. Those kind of hands. So when I'm not making videos, I'm usually watching videos. And I do like to watch Craftsman for his sculpting tips and Miscast. And what they both have in common is they both make their own sculpting tools. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I made this, I turned this coffee stirrer into a chicken feet texture maker thing, trademark. And there you have your generic sculpting tool. I knew that right off the bat. Could tell that from a mile away.
You didn't add any beads though.
That's right, I'm not using beads today. I am using these pearl rhinestones for eyes, but no beads, because there is more to me than beads, Knarb. Okay? There's more to me than beads. Alright? So I'm using the silicone sculpting tool to add details around the eye. Just basically bunch it up, and it's also going to fix them in place, so I don't need to add any glue. And there you have it. There's some weird, there's me, oh wait, hold on a minute, what, that ain't right. There's got to be a dad joke in there somewhere. Anyway, let's fix this. So I used a towel for a head. I figured I could use the head for a towel. Yeah. Like a little nubby towel, there you go. Maybe turn it up the other way, that's it. There we go. So there's more cracks in this dinosaur than your dad's web browser history, so I'm going to need to fill them. And I know what you're thinking. Fancy pants, Bill, you've got all fancy pants. Well, you know, I had this stuff sitting around. I have no idea where I got it from. It's not particularly good for anything but filling cracks, so that's what I used it for. But you could just use spackle, or even, you know, some Mod Podge probably would have filled these little cracks, but whatever, I used it. Alright, I'm fancy pants, I've sold out. I'm not the same, I've changed. Whatever. I'll go check on him, alright? Okay. Okay, alright. What is it? What's the problem? Yeah. What is that? What have you got there? What? Look, son, you shouldn't be having that. You should put it down. Put it down. Son, no. Son, I love you. No, okay, I'm off. I'm going. Okay, bye. Just don't tell Mum about this, okay? So the real fans out there will notice I have a new cutting mat, a nice new clean cutting mat that it's, you know, do I want to get it dirty? No, but you know, let's see how long that lasts. Got to keep it clean. Keep it clean, Bill. Keep it clean. Oh, and I'm using paints and hairy sticks to rub paint all over this model. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing right there. Look. So I'm not going to go into colour theory this week. I'm not going to be that guy, but you know, my theory about colour is it exists, and if it looks nice next to another colour, if two colours go together and they work well together, they can pull in the same direction. No, it's not right either. Some colours are nice, some colours aren't. I'm going to work on this theory. I don't really have one, but you basically use nice colours. That's my theory. Oh yeah, and I'm doing a dry brush. The best thing about sculpting something is you can add all this texture in and then just dry brush it. Dry brush it to death at the end, and it always looks good. Look at that. Dry brush. So my favourite way of adding a wash to my models lately is using oil paint mixed with some green pesto. No, hold on, white spirit, yes. I wonder why that pasta tasted funny. No wonder he eats epoxy putty. So I want to add a blue wash, this ultramarine. How have Games Workshop not cracked down on this? Slacking. So I guess this creature is a mutated anteater, and anyone who's been watching my stuff will realise that a lot of my stuff is set in the same kind of universe, the same world. And this thing lives on the junk planet with the old man and the bead bots and the scrap hermit monster. And it kind of walks along the junk mountains with its big chicken hands and uses its long nose to kind of reach in and grab any mammals it finds under there and eats it. You know, sometimes children, you know, if a child's hiding under there, but you know, I don't think it's a bad creature. Yeah, a giant mutated monster anteater. My son's gonna love it. So here it is. Here's my converted toy. It was a Stegosaurus, and now it's a mutated anteater thing. What do you think? And I want to say thank you to Gert.
Fuck off, Bill.
And Knarb.
See you, Bill.
And Nick.
Okay, bye. Alright. Bye-bye.
Make sure you check everyone else's video. There should be a playlist down below. And, well, I guess all that's left is to, you know, give this to my son and see what he thinks. I'm sure he's going to love it. So like always, a really big thank you to my patrons. There's a big thriving community going on now on my Patreon and Discord. So if you would like to take part, please go to the link below. And here's the creature. I'm really happy with this, the mutated alien anteater thing. It needs a name. You can put name suggestions down below. But I really enjoyed sculpting it. So if you'd like me to make more stuff like this, let me know. Yeah, I might even consider live streaming some stuff in the future. Maybe some illustrations. Let me know if that'd be interesting to you. I can draw stuff